Wario64 on X says EA announces agreement to be acquired by PIF, Silver Lake, and Affinity Partners for $55 billion with a B. $55 billion to take Electronic Arts private in one of the biggest gaming deals in the history of video games. This is massive and will and is sending ripples throughout the entire video game industry. I'm not going to read through this entire thing, but this is the press release. Accelerates EA's strategic vision to advance the future of entertainment. Stockholders to receive $210 per share in cash, representing a 25% premium. Transaction represents largest all-cash sponsor take-private investment in history. Not just in gaming, in history. That's insane. That is insane. It continues. Go on for more pages. These are advisors, transaction details. And would you be surprised if Saudi Arabia is where the vast majority of the money is coming from? About PIF. PIF is one of the world's most impactful investors, enabling the creation of key sectors and opportunities that help shape the global economy, deliver returns, and drive the economic transformation of Saudi Arabia. The gaming and esports industry is one of its priority sectors, contributing to the diversification of the local economy, while at the same time driving investment returns. So there's been a lot of chatter surrounding what this is going to do to the company and, more importantly, the employees, and even more importantly, the games themselves and the players that play them. We'll start with the employees and the business fluff that we get from CEO Andrew Wilson. This is Pirate Nation. Andrew Wilson's statement to employees on EA's future. Our values and our commitment to players and fans around the world remains unchanged. I am excited to continue as CEO, working alongside our leadership team to advance our strategy. My goodness, this guy is made of money right now after what just happened. United by our vision, we will deliver experiences that transcend platforms and empower players everywhere to create worlds, characters, and stories that are bold, interactive, and deeply connected. Which sounds to me, at least on the surface, like, I don't know about you guys, there's going to be redundancies and massive layoffs. And there's a lot more under the hood here that they're not telling you about with what's about to happen with EA. But at least when they announce this, they say, hey, it's good news. Money everywhere. No problems, right? Well, Jason Schreier on Blue Sky. It's official. EA is going private. The leveraged buyout will be financed by a staggering $20 billion of debt, which likely means some aggressive cost cutting is ahead for EA in the coming months and years. AKA, a lot of people are going to be out of a job and allegedly being replaced with AI. A lot of people are understandably focused on Saudi Arabia and Kushner part of this, but the far bigger immediate impact will come from the new private EA being on the hook for $20 billion in debt. That could mean mass layoffs, more aggressive monetization, and other big cost-cutting measures. Well, one thing's for sure. If they go even more aggressive on monetization, they're going to start losing people. I can't believe people are even sticking with them at this point with how over-the-top the microtransactions are coming out of EA games. But shocker, they are. Battlefield Bulletin screenshot that and said, according to a new report from Financial Times, EA's new owners, PIF, Silver Lake, and Affinity Partners, will rely on AI as a way to reduce production costs and increase EA's profits in the coming years, with the stated goal of absorbing the colossal $20 billion debt associated with the acquisition. Bloomberg's reporter Jason Schreier claims this debt could mean mass layoffs, more aggressive monetization, and other big cost-cutting measures. And this goes on, but I wanted to focus on what Jay Viper said here, because this is actually fascinating to me. He said, sale of EA, what does it affect? Don't forget how many studios EA owns and that they were most likely all included in the $55 billion sale. BioWare, which is a shit show right now, on the verge of death. Mass Effect, this is their last chance. The next Mass Effect most likely is their last one. Dragon Age is done for after Veilguard. BioWare is just a walking corpse right now. Respawn Entertainment, developers of Apex Legends, which is on the downtrot because of the microtransactions inserted. Titanfall, which I believe the latest one got canceled. And Star Wars Jedi, which no updates coming from that. DICE, Digital Illusions. Battlefield franchise, which, Battlefield's going to make a lot of money. $55 billion worth? No, but it will make a lot of money. Criterion Games, Need for Speed series, and some Battlefield support. Need for Speed is all but dead. Codemasters, specializing in racing games. Codemasters, all but dead. PupCap Games, casual titles. They destroyed Plants vs. Zombies, Bejeweled, Peggle. These games were amazing games before EA bought them and turned them into microtransaction messes. Ripple Effect Studios, formerly DICE LA, Battlefield expansions. Motive Studios, Star Wars Squadrons, and Dead Space Remake. EA Vancouver and EA Montreal, FIFA. Now EA Sports FC, which, yes, that also will make shitloads of money as well. But I got to be honest, looking at the repertoire of studios and games here does not fill me with a lot of confidence as an EA investor. Like, yes, there are a couple. I'm not going to say that everything is trash here, but my goodness, it seems like everything they bought has turned to shit over the years. Funny how that works. And this is Grums, who says, since gamers started publicly flogging woke games in 2024, EA goes private. Ubisoft moves its best IPs to a private subsidiary. I think we had more of an effect than many realize. Ubisoft looked untouchable in early 2024, but gamers took them down. Both of these newly structured companies mean they are a lot less susceptible to pressure by the left. This by no means the sole reason, but it is a significant factor, which fair, good point. And Savvy, LOL, LMAO even, why would the company who claims to care about inclusivity do that? It's almost like the thing we've been saying about performative bullpucky was true. And this was quote tweeting Kotaku saying, the internet reacts to EA's $55 billion sale to some of the worst people around. To which I completely ratioed them saying, EA sold to Kotaku? That's a ratio right there. And people are like, hey, good job, you ratio Kotaku. And I'm like, yeah, bro, it's Kotaku. I'm going to do that when I wake up and sip my coffee accidentally. It's Kotaku. It's not that big of a ratio win. She goes, also, how dare you call Saudi Arabians the worst around? Are they the wrong type of brown for your diversity quotas? Which is such a banger message. This right here proves that it's all about pushing Marxism. They don't give a shit about representation or skin color or gender. Because if they did, they'd be like, oh, Saudis, that's a underrepresented group of people in gaming today. Don't you think they'd say that? Instead of, oh, they're the worst type of people. Weird. I thought you'd welcome the new non-white overlords. It's classic. This is EA named to best places to work for LGBT equality by Human Rights Campaign. EA named one of the best places to work for LGBT equality. EA named, this is hysterical, the sale to some of the worst people around. So they're mad that Saudi Arabia has a controlling stake of EA now. And Saudi Arabia is not necessarily known for being LGBT friendly, we'll just say. It's funny how this all comes together, isn't it? I got to be honest, and on a personal note with this whole situation, if I were an investor in EA, I would have been buying puts and I would have been expecting them to drop. I would not have been more wrong. Based off of what just happened right now, I am shocked. Shocked. It's such a ridiculous deal that I can't help but leap to there's got to be more going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. And it's a very shaky foundation. It's a house of cards that just added another layer to it. And it's getting even more wobbly right now. $55 billion with $20 billion in debt. How? How are you 20 billion in debt with a $55 billion deal? How do you even do that? It's insane. It's insane. But yeah, that is EA going private. And I know there's, by the way, and I'll leave it at this. There is a conversation to be had right now about what this means on if they're going to lean more into microtransactions to make up for that $20 billion loss, or if they're going to go back to what made EA a respectable company decades and decades ago. I was there. I saw it firsthand. EA used to be a banger company. And now that they're going back to be private again, yes, it's private equity that owns them, but it's not listening to shareholders. They have a lot more control in the stake and what happens, and they don't have to bow to the needs and try to go crazy every quarter to up the numbers every single quarter. Yes, the private equity is going to want that too, but it's a different vibe. And it is interesting with the conversation around it. So I'll be interested to see what happens with that. But yeah, 55 billion EA. Wow. Wow.